for president because I believe that we can have a country where everybody, no matter who they are or where they come from, can prosper. You know, we landed here in San Francisco, and I was thinking back to the first time that I ever came to this city. It was on Wednesday, September 23rd, 1992. Yeah. I'm a terrible politician sometimes. I don't remember faces, like names, as much as I should, but I remember dates, you know, you can tell. A few months before that, my brother and I had run out to the mailbox when we were seniors in high school in April of 1992, on April 3rd, because we had applied to a whole bunch of colleges. And like a lot of y'all, you know, like we applied to the colleges on the U.S. News and World Report list. And we got these fee waivers, the application fee waivers to apply. The year that we applied, my mother was making like $19,000 or $20,000. And my grandmother was getting a few $100s every month in a Social Security check. And we ran out to the mailbox, and we got these 2 packets in the mailbox. And you remember when you're applying to college or to grad school, you want it to be a packet and not an envelope. Because if it's an envelope, it's probably like a thanks but no thanks. And we ran back in the house, and we opened up these packets. And the letter on the top said, "Congratulations and welcome to the Stanford class of 1996. And I wish that I had back then the cell phone cameras that we all have today, so that I could have taken a picture or taken a video of my grandmother's face. Because I bet, like a lot of your parents and grandparents, she never could have imagined that kind of opportunity, you know, for herself or for her daughter or even for her grandchildren. And it was one of those moments that you have in life where it's like your American dream is coming true right before your eyes. And you can see this great future in front of you. And then a couple of weeks later, we got the bill. None of us were that happy. And this is going to sound cheap now, but at that time, the university cost between $27,000 and $28,000 per person per year. Both Joaquin and I had gotten in, and so, you know, there was no way that my mother and grandmother could pay for $55,000 a year for both of us to go to school. And the only reason that I can stand up here with the kind of opportunity that I've had is because I worked hard, my family worked hard, but also because there were things like Pell Grants and Perkins loans and Stafford loans, and there was federal work study so that we could work while we were there in college. In other words, our country is at its greatest when we reward that hard work with meaningful opportunity, no matter where somebody comes from or who they are. The color of their skin, their gender identity, their sexual orientation, or whether they're male or female, whoever they are. And we have to get back to that as a country. I believe that in the 21st century that America can be the smartest, the healthiest, the fairest, and the most prosperous nation on earth. That's my vision for our future. That if we want to be the smartest country in the world in the 21st century, that we need to do things like make pre-K universal so that everybody can get off their strong start. I had the honor of serving for 5 years as the mayor of my hometown of San Antonio. And the thing that I'm most proud of is that we took to the voters when I was mayor a ballot initiative to raise the sales tax so that we could significantly expand high-quality full-day pre-K for 4-year-olds in our city. Understanding that if you have $1 to spend on education, the best place to spend it is in early childhood education, when the young minds of children are learning at their fastest, and you can make sure that their path is set to success. And people said, oh, you know, why are you doing that? The mayor doesn't have any role in education. We had 15 different independent school districts. We had no power over education. But I believe that the future of the city depended on that. It was also true that oftentimes we're great at investing in things, sports stadiums, airports, roads, bridges, which are, you know, people believe in that, and, you know, we certainly have to invest in our roads and infrastructure. But we're often not as good at investing in people. And I wanted to invest in the people, especially the youngest people of our community. And I think it's time that America does that throughout this country. I also know that because when I got out of law school, I owed over $80,000 in debt. That if we want to be the smartest country in the world, not only do we have to improve our K through 12 education system, we need to make sure that we have tuition-free college in this country. So if you want to go to a community college or a state school, or you want to get an apprenticeship, do an apprenticeship or certification training program, that you can do that and not owe over $100,000 in debt, so that people can get the skills and training they need to be competitive in the job market, and also get on with their lives, be able to buy a home if they want to, be able to save to start a family or plan for retirement, all of those things. If we want to be the healthiest nation on earth, we need to change our healthcare system. I believe that it's time for Medicare for all in this country. And the question is not whether we should do it or whether we can afford to do it. It's that we can't afford not to do it in the wealthiest nation on earth. That anybody in this country would go without health care. Not health insurance, health care when they actually need it. My grandmother, for as long as I knew her, when I was growing up, she had diabetes, like a lot of people in the Latino community. And I remember when I was a kid that she would go off to the restroom in the mornings or sometimes in the afternoon and give herself an insulin injection. And as she grew older, her condition got worse, and right before she passed away, she had one of her feet amputated, which is very common. You know that the price of insulin has gone up 3 times what it used to be just a few years ago. And that's just one example. We were very fortunate because she had Medicare. Everybody should have Medicare if they want it in this country. If we want to be the fairest nation on earth, it means that we need to make sure that everybody is treated the same under the law.
Yes.
No matter who you are. It means that nobody should live in fear, whether they wear a hijab or whatever the color of their skin is. That in our criminal justice system, that innocent until proven guilty should mean the same thing for everybody. That we should stop this mass incarceration that has taken too many lives and too many dreams away. And we need to do things like legalize marijuana and stop putting people away in our communities because, you know, they've done something. The fact is that there are a lot of other people that do it that don't get punished for smoking. You know, a few days ago, I was reminded that Trayvon Martin would have been 24 years old. No matter who you are in this country, you should find justice. You should be able to pursue your dreams without the threat of law enforcement or somebody else abusing their power. And if I'm president, I'm going to make sure that we push to make that a reality for every young man and every young woman in this country. If we're going to be the most prosperous nation in the 21st century, it means that we need to raise the minimum wage to at least $15 an hour in the years to come. That we need to address some of the longest term challenges to this country. My first executive order as president will be to recommit this country to the Paris Climate Accord. That this administration has made, and to get serious about climate change. I was pleased to see the Green New Deal that's been introduced in Congress. My brother Joaquin co-sponsored that legislation. Whatever that ends up looking like, the fact is that we don't need to choose between growing our economy and creating jobs and protecting our planet. We can do both of those things and prosper in the years to come in this country. Take some questions and we'll address any other issues that folks want to talk about. But let me just say that one of the things I believe that we need to do as well, if we want to prosper, is that we need to reform our immigration system. Yes. On Father's Day of this year, I went down on a Sunday to join activists who were protesting outside the Ursula Processing Center in McAllen, a place where they literally were separating children from their families. What this administration has done with our immigrant community is wrong. It is immoral. It should never have happened in the first place. And if I'm president, we're going to make sure that it never happens again.